It took more points per game in 2022 than ever before in the Premier League.
And time wasting caught up on them that night as well. Newcastle, they were trying to run the clock down as much as possible, and in the end, Liverpool are valuable. Very late.
7 additional minutes have been prescribed that night. The goal came about 30 seconds after the 7 minutes were up.
Hey guys, Happy New Year again. This game here, I can easily see a draw. Again, the Premier League match week of Premier League got match of the week video. Sorry it came to you late. Definitely a guarantee that City's going to win the match against Chelsea. Chelsea really needed to stay alive in the top 4, but that's a mid-table team. Man City are too much. It could be Arsenal's turn to drop points today. Lots of possession. They're looking very good right now. Don't get me wrong, but always hard to break down Newcastle. Newcastle already beat Chelsea. They drew against City. It was 3-3, if I'm not mistaken. They drew against City. So, yeah, Newcastle, they may steal a point here, and they'll probably get revenge against Newcastle. The trip away to Newcastle in May. Lost out of top 4 when they failed to get the win at Newcastle at St. James Park. And here in May the 6th, they can get paid back against the Magpies. That win against Newcastle May the 6th, that may very well put Arsenal over the top for the Premier League title. So, yes, the payback is coming. It's going to happen later on in the season, but I think Newcastle have got the Cole Jones to steal a point here. Still like Arsenal to win the league. Everton against Man City. It's a marathon. It's a long, long race. Now Arsenal's turned to drop points. They're now back and even. I mean, Arsenal control their own destiny. Even if they lose both matches to City, you get the feeling that Arsenal City match in February is going to be suspenseful because both teams would control their own destiny. Manchester City would, Arsenal would. Manchester City may be able. That is a tough fixture list coming up. They've got Chelsea. They've got the Manchester Derby. Kind of fitting. The Premier League schedule makers. They schedule the London Derby, the North London Derby, and they schedule the Manchester Derby all in the same week. And both of those matches would involve the top 2 teams in the title races. You can't ask it any better for the Premier League. Very dramatic following week coming up. They also get Tottenham too. Man City always drop points against Tottenham. So are Tottenham going to lay down? Is Conte gone, or is Tottenham going to play for top 4 position? Because Tottenham could try to fuck over Arsenal. I mean, that Tottenham Man City match is going to be very interesting coming up. The next few matches coming up. Tottenham to defeat Crystal Palace, to defeat Patrick Vieira, to defeat the former legendary Gunner, entering the North London Derby with 33 points. 33 at the highest degree of the Freemasons. They beat up on Patrick Vieira, and then Arsenal back up their former captain. They back up Vieira with a win against Tottenham in the North London Derby next week on 15th for their 15th win of the season if they don't win here today. I think it's Harry Edward Kane that match of 47. Arsenal can pick up their 47 points if they draw today. The Premier League matches of the week coming up sometime shortly. This is going to be good. Well, Darwin Nunez is just what can you say about his finishing? In Liverpool, they have a very leaky defense. You got to have a good back line. That was Arsenal's problem during the latter stages of Arsene Wenger. Now it's the opposite. Arsenal have a good back line right now. Liverpool, even with Van Dijk, their structure is very poor in the midfield.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that Arsenal have looked at, trying to get behind Burn. He had a little more support then, but we've seen Odegaard. When Odegaard goes into that little space and they can get 2-on-1 with Burn, you might see more action.
Now, the Premier League match of the week video, if Arsenal get 44 points, it's Tottenham FC extra match of 44. Obviously, it's Champions extra match of 44. They enter with 44 points at the new year because Queen Elizabeth just died. Elizabeth Demacia 43, Champion Demacia 43. It doesn't matter how many points they drop. The same old Arsenal. This isn't the past trend of winning the league in December and choking in the new year. It's a much different team this time around. It's a different manager. So Newcastle 9 wins, 8 draws. If they draw today, it's worth noting that it's Champions extra match 98. In Gematria, it's also the Gunners that has Gematria 98. The Gunners having Gematria 98 and 35. This could be the 35th point for Newcastle if this match does end in a draw. Make the December game away at St. James very interesting. That match fucked over their top 4 chances, and they can get revenge at St. James Park in the month of May, even if it doesn't happen today. I can kind of see that script playing out. Hopefully Arsenal win, because obviously I had Arsenal win the league. But if they lose, it's not a big deal. It just means the North London Derby has become a lot more suspenseful. I see the Buccaneers winning that game, even if Tom Brady plays a series or two. Falcons at their best, remember, couldn't beat a David Blow of the Cardinals. Couldn't beat David Blow last week. Couldn't beat David Blow. So even if the Bucs do play their backups, I think the Bucs can still win that one. Newcastle really don't look like they're going to get anything out of this. Just from the looks of it. Hopefully they win. I think it's fitting that Arsenal and Newcastle have black kits, black away kits, or black alternative kits in the season that they knew the Queen would die. They knew the Queen would die. And not a coincidence, Arsenal and West Ham had black jerseys. I will come up with the video. I like Napoli to defeat Inter, not because I hope to see Inter lose, but Napoli with their 44th points right after Argentina's World Cup victory. PSG picked up their 44th points in their return match back. Napoli to get the win at San Siro. They've already traveled to San Siro twice to face off against Milan Inter. They traveled to Rome both times. They got the win against Lazio. They got the win against Roma. They already went to Gewis. They already went to Bergamo. They defeated Atalanta. A trip to Torino still awaits Napoli, but they have gone away to all the tough away. They've gotten the away matches out of the park. That's why they're minus 250, because they get all of these top sides at home, virtually all of them at home the next time around. And the international break in late March, they get like 13 or 14 days to get ready for Milan. They get a lot of rest. That's a big advantage too.
Need some more ideas, need some more invention, imagination in what they're bringing to.
But this is a midweek match. Let's see how the players adapt. It's a little different when you play 3-4 days instead of 7 days. I can't let him shove you off the ball like that right there. I think that's Gabriel. I think number 4, maybe that's Ben White. He got shoved off the ball there. Yep, that's Ben White. Yep. I think the expected score line is probably 1-0 right now, but who knows? Who knows if one moment of losing concentration may allow Newcastle to score. So 1-1 if Arsenal lose a little bit of defensive concentration for even a split second. Yes, Newcastle are very good on the counter.
Assistant manager. Just to underline the point that you were making, Jim. 5 attempts in the opening 7 minutes or so for Arsenal, but none since. Whilst Newcastle have forced a couple, Arsenal are just getting themselves bogged down.
That was good by Newcastle right there. They got some ideas.
It's great work by Newcastle. That's what we were saying. That it would have been their intention to slow the pace, and they've done that.
Right after we find out what happens with Man City against Chelsea, we'll break down the big derbies up next week, the Manchester Derby and the North London Derby. Antonio Conte, let's see how many losses he has as manager. Antonio Conte is gone. This is Juventus' chance to determine if Antonio Conte is the next skipper or if Massimiliano Allegri is still going to be back. New board, new player director. Antonio Conte can enter the match with 34 victories as Tottenham Hotspur manager. Antonio Conte's 62nd match as manager with Tottenham is going to be for the Queen versus Arsenal. That is his 62nd match with Tottenham versus Arsenal. That's the match of Queen. Antonio Conte definitely lose that match. They get 2 wins against Tottenham for the Queen. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely. PSG to win Champions League, Arsenal to win for the Queen, Napoli to win for Maradona after Argentina's World Cup victory. Yep, that is the script.
Appreciating the work of Eddie and Pepe. Most of his chance he's had since Gabriel Jesus has been out of the team. The injury that he picked up.
Maybe if Arsenal drop points here, I can kind of parlay them or whatever with Napoli and the PSG, whatever. Just have a big football parlay, a big soccer parlay.